can't let you pass this point.
Well, can I point something out on the sign? I won't go past the sign, but can I go to the sign? Thank you. See that municipal code right there? That's the authority that you're citing as no admittance. It's cited on the sign. That municipal code applies to private property only, and I have the code printed out of my pocket where it specifically says that this code does not apply to either government-owned property or property occupied by government entities.
Do you guys remember this record-breaking First Amendment audit? This was done at the LAPD training facility. Let me show you guys a clip. Wow, guys, look at what we got here. Damn, look at that. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 in uniform, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and the rest out of uniform. Can we get some names and badge numbers really quick? It's Rodriguez, 2, 4.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, can I kindly ask you if I can get your name? Romero, 23377. Ariano.
You got it better than most.
They only have 4 numbers. 24965. Nunley. 23233. Thank you. Camargo. 22455. Thank you. Hey, is there a supervisor here?
Okay, copy that. No drive. You guys are good.
This is crazy, dude.
Why does it always seem like they're trying to start a war?
Wow, look at that. Now let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22 so far.
Everybody, let's go.
Hey, you're all dismissed. You're all dismissed. Thank you. You're all dismissed.
Seatbelts.
You're all dismissed. Buckle and bounce. You're all dismissed. Alright guys, now let's get to the video that we're gonna watch. I got a recommendation from this channel called Sheep Show Live, and the title read LAPD Training Facility. So immediately I clicked on it, and as soon as I started commenting, I seen an officer who goes by Sergeant Tom. I don't really like to call him sergeants anymore because that's a military term. We're not at war with the people. So we'll call him Assistant Manager Tom. He arrives and starts talking to the auditor and starts asking for me. Check this out.
Are you with San Joaquin? Are you with San Joaquin News? He was supposed to come on my podcast, but he never called me back. I write him constantly and I don't get anything back. Do you have access to him? He knows me, Sergeant Tom. And I've been dying for him to come on. I've written, he has me posted on one of his videos. I'd love to have him on the show. I'd love to have him come on and talk about things. There's a lot of the training and education that falls short. That's some of the stuff I wanted to talk to San Joaquin about. He knows me, Sergeant Tom.
Pleasure to meet you, Tom.
Right there, nice to meet you, San Joaquin Transparency. That's the part that I want to get out with San Joaquin. When I was on San Joaquin when they were here, I told everybody, look, the kid was right. Like you could not like the way they did it, or you could have your feelings hurt. The kid didn't do anything wrong. That's why I came down specifically, because I was hoping I'd see San Joaquin.
If you weren't so educated out here at this academy, thanks to San Joaquin Valley Transparency and his last audit,
I'd love to do some kind of a collaboration with the auditors where you come in and you actually teach a class on it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see something like that.
Well,
it's amazing how these kids don't understand the Constitution. That was something that San Joaquin put in play before, and how so many people are scared to answer these questions. Right? We swear an oath to it. People can't say what it is. But you're a media source. Just like San Joaquin and just like the others that do. This is a form of media. You get thousands of people looking at this.
So, it's a pleasure having you, San Joaquin.
Alright guys, so now we're going to get to the video. I want you guys to pay attention. This auditor does a really good job on the follow-up audit that I did there. Also with me at that time was San Joaquin Audits, J Surreal Camera, East Los Audits, Nate Skates 182. We did a record-breaking First Amendment audit. Most police officers called during a First Amendment audit. You guys are absolutely going to love this follow-up. After our First Amendment audit there, they put up some signs saying that it's no longer public property. Wait till you guys see this follow-up audit video. The penal code that they put on there is not legit, folks. They try to pull a quick one on the people. Great job on Sheep Show Live for calling them out on that. I'm going to drop the link to his channel in the description and in the pinned comment. Get ready for an outstanding First Amendment follow-up audit video. All right, guys, here we go.
Yes, San Joaquin has been here, and that's funny. Hey, San Joaquin, how are you? Well, since you're here and you have the place of honor, San Joaquin, I am here following up on your audit. And Jay Surreal and East Los Audits and Nate Skates. And look what they did since you were out here. Check this out.
Are you with San Joaquin?
I'm sorry?
Are you with San Joaquin News?
I could be so honored to be with San Joaquin News, but I'm not.
He was here, and him and I met. He was supposed to come on my podcast, but he never called me back. I write him constantly, and I don't get anything back. Do you have access to him?
He's listening to you right now.
Is he on right now?
He's on right now. He hears everything you're saying.
He knows me, Sergeant Tom.
Sergeant?
He knows me.
Yeah, he's listening to you. I'm sorry?
Is he writing to you right now?
He is. He says the last thing he wrote was awesome.
He knows me, and I've been dying for him to come on. I've written. He has me posted on one of his videos. He knows me. He remembers me.
Well, I'm actually here doing a follow-up to that video that he did.
Well, can you please ask him to reach out to me? We've done the Gmail. I'd love to have him on the show to talk about some of these issues.
He says, hey, Sergeant Tom.
See, there you go.
Yeah, he knows you.
Is he going to be able to come on? We could make this. I'd love to have him come on and talk about things.
San Joaquin, Sergeant Tom wants to know if you can get on his podcast. See what he says.
See,
I noticed that you put up the no trespassing authorized persons
how you doing?
on the window there since the last audit.
Yes, absolutely.
See, now I'm giving away all my secrets right now.
Well, no,
my
but
audits.
that's true, though, because what he made a fair point. There was no signage.
Right.
So, you know, there's access, there's public access up there.
Right.
So a lot of what he did was true, and so he made good points, and there's been adjustments since. So,
he's asking you to send him another email. Maybe yours got lost
no, that's okay.
in the shuffle.
Yeah, that's okay.
It looks like he's going to do it right now, San Joaquin. So the reason that I'm here, because I did see you in that last video, and I
Did
was
you really?
Yeah, and I was very impressed with 99% of how you handled the situation.
I appreciate the high percentage. Thank you.
And the reason that I'm here is several of the officers were upstanding and respectful.
Thank you.
But you had that one tyrant pig with two stripes out here, which I affectionately refer to as a tyrant pig, who was trying to tell the auditors that the street was private.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things that I try to remember to say is that if you can't make somebody to do something that they don't want to do legally,
Yeah.
and you're a tyrant, what do? You lie to them.
Yeah.
You lie to them, you know, just like a pervert would lie to his victim, or a pedophile would lie to his children victim. You lie to them.
Can I give you a perspective?
You could, but
I'm not trying to change your
I
mind.
won't adopt it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But
Go for it.
Hear me out.
Go for it.
A lot of people didn't realize that this is public. For years, they think this is private property. They don't realize that Elysian Park is, in fact, a public park. And you could go up there and shop. You could eat at the cafe.
Yeah.
A lot of and I'm not making excuses, I promise you, because it could have been handled differently. So I'm not making excuses. But I'm giving you some reasons. And a lot of these guys and gals don't understand that you're right, this is a public roadway. Right. You're right. I don't know if it was a lie as much as it was ignorance.
May I offer to you that when you're enforcing statutes at the barrel of a gun, figuratively speaking, when you are in full uniform, when you have all of the weapons on you, which we affectionately refer to as a belt of death, and when you are trying to enforce statute, the onus not only is on you to know the law,
you're right.
and ignorance is no excuse.
I would agree.
And also, it is presumed that you would know the law if you're enforcing the law.
I agree. There's a lot of the training and education that falls short. That's some of the stuff I wanted to talk to San Joaquin about.
Right.
I mean, no argument.
Sure.
A lot of it falls short.
Well, I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
You did post signs in the parking lot.
We did now.
And I'm in the parking lot, so why would that be?
So does the parking lot say no trespass?
Absolutely.
I'd have to read it, sir, because I haven't watched it, but people can park here to go to the cafe.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
I have to look into. I really don't know what the sign says as a memory, but I'll walk with you and see.
Sure.
Thank you.
Let's go down
So
there.
I just want to show you. My name's Tom, by the way. He knows me, Sergeant Tom.
Pleasure
so
to meet you,
right
Tom.
there, nice to meet you. San Joaquin Transparency.
Gotcha.
From Policing in America podcast. Hello, sir. I'm just going to put on there.
Do you want me to film that or no?
I mean, if you want to.
He's got you pulled up on his phone, and he's going to send you an email right now.
Hello,
so
sir.
we have it. We have made a record.
Let's do the talk.
So San Joaquin, if you don't respond to Sergeant Tom, we have made a record.
All right, so it's out.
And Sergeant Tom, if he won't get back to you, why don't you hit me up? sheepshowmedia@gmail.com.
Okay, that's very fast. Hang on a second. Hang on a
Sheep,
second.
like the animal.
Sheep show. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'd love to talk to you about this stuff because, look, I know there's a lot of contention,
Yes.
but the reality is it doesn't need to be one. A lot of it comes from a failure to train the staff properly. 100%.
Yes,
Okay,
we agree.
So let's take a look.
We agree. So,
the
actually,
one?
no, this is for cars.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
going to be
unauthorized.
on
Do
either.
you mind walking with me? Are you
No,
okay with it? Okay.
I don't mind walking with you at all.
Thank you.
I know there's one for sure down here at the end of this driveway. And one of the issues that I had was inconsistent signage. You don't have them on every entrance or
Yeah,
exit.
Yeah.
So somebody can unknowingly walk into one of the entrances that you don't
100%.
have signed.
100%.
And then an
how would
officer
they know?
could come into one that is signed.
Yep.
And now we have a problem.
Absolutely. You need to have the consistency.
Yes.
100%.
So there is
I'm going like this. Sheep show
media
media at.
at Gmail.
Are you local?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, all right, sheep. Oh, look, you got your own tag here. Podcast. I'm gonna do the same thing.
All right, sounds great.
I'm gonna put here. Nice.
So I was actually out here the other day,
Yes, sir.
and I'm mad at myself because I was meaning to research the municipal code while I was here,
Okay.
but I left and didn't do it until I went home. So I had to come back. So the first sign, no trespassing, there's no penal code on there, and we all know this is public property, so you're not going to be able to trespass us from a parking lot, because if we want to go in and see where the office is, there's no signage that says where the office is.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to legally trespass off of this parking lot, okay?
Right.
The second problem is that you have attention, no admittance, employees only by order of the area commander, and he cites that LA Municipal Code,
Yeah.
and that LA Municipal Code specifically says that public property is exempted from the code.
Huh.
So,
Is that what it says in the code?
says it in the code, that doesn't say that verbatim,
Okay.
but it defines private property,
Okay.
and it says private property is property owned by a person, blah, blah, blah,
Uh-huh.
except property owned or legally occupied by a public agency.
How
Okay?
funny.
So this sign is not legally enforceable and it's not applicable.
Yeah.
So that is the reason that I went on the property, because
Yeah.
it's these signs are
Yeah, I would agree. This is well, Bush League. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you're going to do it, do it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Put
yes.
the right stuff up.
Right.
Don't just throw up something that anybody could buy at Home Depot.
right.
Right. It should be a city sign that is legit and has the proper codes.
Right.
And
And the municipal code signs, I mean, they sell them online for this municipal code,
Absolutely.
but for private property.
right.
For private property.
Yeah.
So if you actually go into the statute and you read the municipal code, yeah, it specifically exempts public property.
Yeah.
So that sign's unenforceable.
I and it's frustrating. Look, it's frustrating for me
Right.
when we're trying to make this a profession,
Right.
And we want to be professional.
Yes.
That we do this.
Yes.
It believe me, I feel your frustration with this. Have a good night, sir. I feel your frustration with this. It irritates a lot of us too. Because what does that do? It makes us look, like I say, Bush League.
Well,
It
that
makes us
erodes public trust and it erodes public confidence.
100% agree.
Okay.
And that's the part that I want to get out with San Joaquin and with you,
Yeah.
sir. Like, and a lot of times it's hard to have the mirror turned on yourself,
Yes.
and we have to have a little humility.
Yes.
We have to put the hubris away, have a little humility, and say, look, where can we be better? When I was on San Joaquin, when they were here, I told everybody, look, the kid was right. Like you could not like the way they did it, or you could have your feelings hurt. The kid didn't do anything wrong. There's not a sign up here, So that's the part I think we grow from that.
Well, when it comes to law enforcement, I think one of the biggest things that law enforcement should remind themselves of and be cognizant of is that you are sanctioned not only by the government, but by God, okay, to enforce statute. You should not be enforcing etiquette, okay?
Yeah.
You should not be enforcing etiquette, and you have no right to enforce etiquette
I agree.
when you're on duty and in full uniform.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
keep your opinions to yourself. I want to know when I'm violating the law.
Absolutely.
I want to know when I'm violating a statute, because I have an obligation as a citizen, as a civic-minded American, to obey the law.
Absolutely.
And that's my goal. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But when you start convoluting the law and start making me question your motives, when you start trying to interject etiquette, or when you start giving me directives that I know are unlawful directives.
Yes.
How many times have we heard, not you, but we, or me, how many times have I heard, countless, I'm giving you a lawful order?
Oh.
Well, what's the law that backs up that order? There is no law.
Yes. Therefore,
you're not giving me a lawful order.
It can't be lawful. There's nothing to back it up.
That's right.
100% agree.
Lawful order is backed up by a law.
Absolutely. I'll walk with you if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I just had I'm pretty much, you ruined my audit.
Oh, well, why?
So-
What did you wrong?
Well, I'm blown now. I'm blown.
No,
so
what do you mean?
I come here.
No, but people knew you were here. That's why I
knew
came
that.
down specifically, because I was hoping I'd see San Joaquin.
Right. But we are just like you, just like law enforcement, in order to capture or catch or apprehend people that are breaking the law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do stakeouts and you try and catch somebody. You monitor their activities. Okay.
Yeah.
I like to come and I like to maybe look inside of vehicles.
Yeah.
So that I can test the government's response.
Sure.
I don't know how government is going to respond
Sure.
if I don't test the response.
Yeah. It's like a pressure test almost.
It is. So I come out here, I do something that, I would, if you weren't so educated out here at this academy, thanks to San Joaquin Valley Transparency and his last audit, if you weren't so informed and so educated here, because everybody here so far, except for one person, and he wasn't even that bad, but everybody here so far has done an absolutely outstanding job.
That's good to hear.
I have had
It really is.
no issues
That's good to hear.
here, and this is the second time I've been here in a week.
Really?
Yeah, I came on Monday.
Oh, okay.
So I came back because of the sign. I came back to test the sign.
Yeah.
To see if somebody would actually come. Number one, and be ignorant of the statute. And number two, be inflexible and be unwilling to listen to the fact that that is not an enforceable statute and that I'm not violating that statute.
Yeah.
So,
And you've had good success with that.
and I haven't had any encounters with anybody,
Nothing
really,
negative.
except for you. I mean, you had somebody from the academy. I was talking about her on my live stream. She stood out here on the street as I was looking at cars. She never approached me. She just had eyes on me.
Okay.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Sure.
Who says you can't watch me?
Right.
Who says you can't watch what I'm doing?
Right.
You're not interfering with me. You're not disrupting me. You're not giving me unlawful directives or unlawful orders. I mean, you want to stand back in the street and just watch me, go ahead.
Absolutely. Well, you're being fair-minded about this, and I appreciate that. Look, I don't want to live in a tyrannical government either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have police, myself included. I want limits to my power. Because guess what? When I go home at night, I'm subject to the same, rules and regulations that you are. And I don't want a tyrannical government that's going to just enforce things in a different city, in a different municipality.
Yeah.
So I appreciate what you do, because I think there needs to be accountability. I think there needs to be checks and balances. I'm hoping to bridge the gap. I'm trying to lower the contentiousness
Yes.
between the auditors and the officers.
Right.
That's really my goal, because I appreciate what you're doing as a citizen. You're civically engaged. That's more
Yes.
than 95% of people out there.
Right.
Who will just complain and not do anything.
Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your goals, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to the people.
Yeah, thank you. And I wrote you an email.
Oh, appreciate
so
it.
I would love to give you a platform also to discuss things. I sent you that email.
Sure.
And it's called Policing in America Podcast. My whole goal in the podcast is to give others a voice, and let's talk about these things.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Let's pull back the curtain and just have open dialogue. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but look, we can be better.
I think that if I could leave you with one, because we know that cops shouldn't be using excessive force. We know they shouldn't be violating the law. We know that they shouldn't be lying on their reports. We know that they shouldn't be fabricating crimes.
Agreed.
We know all of that stuff. But if there's a gray area that I want to leave you with that I think is important, and maybe if you're in a meeting or if you're having a podcast, I want to talk to you about bad behavior. I want to talk to you about unprofessional behavior.
Yeah.
Maybe not something that violates policy.
Right.
Maybe not something that violates statute. but just, you know, a cop being what you would refer to in law enforcement as an Adam Henry. Okay?
That's funny.
So
Yeah.
we experience a lot of those Adam Henrys when we deal with law enforcement.
Right.
Okay? He had one here when he asked him his name, and then the cop was like trying to challenge him
I remember.
and trying to get in his personal space, you know? And then obviously, as you also like to say, our actions dictate your actions. Well, his actions dictated the auditor's actions.
100%. Yep.
But I want cops to know, some cops have it in their head that if they're not violating policy,
Right.
if they're not violating statute, that it doesn't matter how they act on camera. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
Agreed.
Because how you're acting is forming people's opinions
Yep.
on law enforcement. And those opinions that are formed as a result of how they're acting on camera affect how people feel towards law enforcement in general. Not only are they more likely to have animosity towards law enforcement, which could grow into hatred for law enforcement, but it is not only can it lead to mistrust against law enforcement, but it also leads to more resistance against law enforcement.
Yeah, we want legitimacy and voluntary compliance.
That's right.
And those interactions like that erode that completely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they lead to more resistance, and they make it harder for good cops like you,
Thank you,
and every good cop in America to do their job. I mean, your job right now, I'd hate to be a peace officer right now. Number one, nobody wants to be a cop right now.
Right.
You can't find, I mean, you guys are trying to draw from the pool, the American pool of people.
Right.
Okay? You're trying to find people without drug offenses, good luck. You're trying to find people without any kind of major criminal history, good luck. You're trying to find people without any kind of negative interactions with law enforcement, good luck.
Right.
So it's hard for you to draw in good people, number one. You're losing the good people, number two.
At a crazy rate.
At a crazy rate.
Yeah.
So by just by attrition and recruiting, a lot of the good apples are going, and a lot of the bad apples on that power trip and that don't care are staying.
Yeah.
And that makes it even harder, and it's a bad cycle. It's a really bad cycle.
I have a class that I run that I'm very proud of. It's a police science and leadership class. We take a lot of the young officers. The younger officers are much more open to this because they only know policing with the camera. They don't know it any other way. The good old days, or whatever people say, police work's dead. These young officers are much more open to these things. I'd love to do some kind of a collaboration with the auditors where you come in and you actually teach a class on it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see something like that.
Well,
it's amazing how these kids don't understand the Constitution. That was something that San Joaquin put in play before, and how so many people are scared to answer these questions. Right? We swear an oath to it. People can't say what it is. And I think there's a gap in that, and I'd like to try to close that gap with both sides.
Well, if San Joaquin doesn't want to do it, I would love to do it. Or if there's room for both of us to come and do it, I'd love to collab with San Joaquin and do it with him.
Yep.
One more point on that issue that
please.
I was making with you about bad behavior, not necessarily unlawful behavior by law enforcement. But when law enforcement engages in that bad behavior, not only does it do the things that I've said that it does and helps informs people's opinions about law enforcement and causes them, but it encourages other law enforcement officers to overstep their authority. And when they do, and I cheer for that. When cops are putting up the police tape and pushing us back further and further and further and further and further from the scene, and further and further, I'm like, you go, because I know that sooner or later a legislature or a judge is going to step in and they're going to clip your wings.
Absolutely.
Now we have Senate Bill 98. Are you familiar with Senate Bill 98?
Please tell me.
Senate Bill 98 amended the penal code. Now it added online news services, okay, when during a riot, or during a civil disturbance, an online news service cannot be charged with failure to disperse, or they cannot be charged with interfering or obstructing. So they've loosened the press requirements as a result of all the cops shooting windows out with their rubber, with their less than lethal, shooting news reporters, assaulting, arresting, pushing news reporters. Now your wings got clipped.
Well, and that's because we're slow to catch up, right? You're a media, you're a member of the media.
Yes.
It's a different media. It's not the classic media. It's not big media or mainstream.
Right.
So we're slow to address this. But you're a media source. Just like San Joaquin and just like the others that do. This is a form of media. You get thousands of people looking at this.
Right.
So we're slow to adjust on that, but it's good that we did.
We also
Better late
have
than never.
are you familiar with Senate Bill? And don't quote me on this,
Sure.
because I have a horrible memory. Senate Bill 2.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Recently passed.
Okay.
Well, Senate Bill 2 creates a panel, a citizen panel, that will now make determinations whether or not they're going to permanently decertify a law enforcement
yes.
officer
Yes.
and prevent them from ever holding a law enforcement position in the state ever
Right.
again for life.
Yeah, that's good.
You know?
That's good. I want that for doctors. I want that for lawyers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fine with that.
But you can, for officers that are not fine with that,
Yeah.
you can thank all of the other bad officers that came before you. Because
that paved
that's
the road
right.
for that.
They paved the road
Yep.
for more restrictions on government and law enforcement, which I support too. I think that's a great thing too.
Oh, yeah.
But my point is, my overarching point is that when you think, not you, but bad with cops, rude cops, unprofessional cops, Adam Henry's, when you think that your behavior doesn't matter and won't affect you in the long run, you couldn't be more mistaken.
It's a very cogent, succinct point. 100% right. The behavior, it's not this lawful but awful. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. We need to have that conversation.
Right.
And people can't just say, "Well, it was legal." Yeah, but it's legal, but was it necessary? Was it pertinent? Was it fulfilling the governmental interest in this particular moment? And it wasn't.
Was it conduct becoming a professional law enforcement officer?
Exactly.
Highly trained, highly skilled, highly trusted.
Yes.
Okay, was it conduct becoming a law enforcement professional?
And when that falls short, it reverberates.
That's right, it does.
Absolutely.
And especially a lot of these old timers, listen, we know that there's bad apples. We know, okay?
Sure.
But some of these bad apples, they've been getting away with it for years. They are virtually in their own minds invincible.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
invincible
Yeah.
because they have been invincible
It's
for
the
so
past
long.
practice.
But that's changing now. It's changing now
good.
because the climate's changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I appreciate you talking with me.
Thank you.
I thank you for that. I gotta head back up
You
because I
got
really
it.
I heard someone was here and I said I'm coming down to see.
You got it.
All right, so can I do this? Are we doing
Absolutely.
that?
How about a knuckle?
All right, I'll do that one as well.
All right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheep.
Sheep Show, and I go by the pseudonym Born Again because I am a born again Christian,
Okay.
and I like to be referred to as born again. I like to be identified with as born
That's
again.
awesome.
I'm not Mexican, I'm not white, I'm not gay, I'm not straight, I'm born again. So if you want to know who I am and my values and my principles, I'm born again.
Well, born again, Tom, Sergeant Tom. Nice to
Thank you,
meet
Sergeant Tom. I appreciate you.
Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you for coming out and talking to me. Now I'm going to get out of here because nobody's even going to come close to me now that Sergeant Tom's talked to me.
Thank you so much. Take care, sir.
All right, take care.
Born again. I'll see you soon, okay?
All right, we'll see you. So that was great. Elcroft, thank you. Good to see you. Sergeant Tom came out. I'm going to get out of here. Sorry I was involved in the conversation and I didn't really see the chat going on. But this is the follow-up. You saw it here first on my alternate live channel. And San Joaquin, I don't know how you happened to get that notification. I think I got like 2 subs on my live channel, on my alternate live. So it's a pleasure having you, San Joaquin. Ada, good to be here. San Joaquin. Is the back closed? I don't know. I can go up there and I can ask. They got the gate closed. Hi.
I don't think you can enter in there, sir.
What's that?
Cannot enter in there.
Oh, where does it say that? Who are you?
Security Officer Sanford.
Sanford. Okay, great.
Yes, sir. Old signs posted up front saying,
Yeah, on the road. On the road by the closed gate. Right? Am I right? Is this a store?
yes, it's closed right now.
Okay, so firearms and duty gear. And this way here. I'm trying to continue on so I don't feel like that's the hill that I want to die on. You're still here? Cool. You want to walk with me?
Yeah, because you can't be on the premises, sir.
Well, this is public property, right? It's a property that belongs to the public, right? We pay for it, right?
Give me 1 second.
All right, you got it. Come on, why don't you walk with me? So, San Joaquin, if I get arrested, you better bail my ass out. So I thought that was Sanford shooting at me. Sanford, I thought you were shooting at me, man.
Yeah, sir. You know,
Huh? I thought you opened fire on me, Sanford. Dang. So if you remember the original audit by San Joaquin and Islos, who at the time I thought had balls the size of grapefruits, they were actually out here on the gun range. Last time I was at the range, I shot a 590 out of 600, and if you don't know what that means, everything except for 2 rounds, 60 rounds, everything except for 2 were in the 10 ring, and 2 of them were in the 9.
How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you, man?
Not too bad.
What's going on?
Not much.
Armed Officer
Yes, sir.
C, how do you pronounce the last name?
Joaquin.
How do you spell it? Oh, there, M-A-R-R-O-Q-U-I-N.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like it rhymes with San Joaquin.
That's kind of right.
Rhymes with San Joaquin. Are you San Joaquin?
No.
No? And we have 2 different companies or same company?
No. I'm a contract.
Contract.
Yeah.
He is too, right?
No, city.
He works for City.
Yes, sir.
I got you. I got you. So how are you doing today?
Not too bad. You know, I'm just here for the presents.
Oh, well, yeah, you're welcome. Come.
Yeah.
Why don't you walk with me?
You know, so nobody gets hurt.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't mind. Is there stairs to get down?
Yeah, this is church.
I'm going to go down here.
Yeah.
We've already seen the range. There's nobody on the range. You haven't seen it. They got the targets all set up. So for all of you trolls and all of you sheep, tell me that 1AA doesn't get results. Tell me that the OGs like San Joaquin don't implement change. Who's this? Hi. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. You got rank.
See the sign right here?
I see that sign.
Yeah.
I saw a few of them coming in,
So we cannot let you,
and I walked right past them.
let you pass this point.
Well, can I point something out on the sign? I won't go past the sign, but can I go to the sign? Thank you. See that municipal code right there? That's the authority that you're citing as no admittance. It's cited on the sign. That municipal code applies to private property only, and I have the code printed out of my pocket, where it specifically says that this code does not apply to either government-owned property or property occupied by government entities. So that's the reason that I disregarded the signs.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh. So now that I've just explained statute to you and your lack of statutory authority to stop me, you're going to stop me because you have a gun and
The property is closed to the public.
the property is closed to the public. That's all fine and dandy. Herein lies the problem. You have cited a municipal code giving you the authority to post property closed to the public.
I'm going to ask you to leave the area where the signage is posted. You're certainly welcome to stay down here where the signage is not posted, but this area is closed to the public. Okay?
I got you. I see.
Okay, but you're welcome to stay down there where the public is allowed to be.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you.
What's your name? Gutierrez.
Terrace.
And do you go by badge numbers, or I don't do
Yes.
LA very much?
Right there.
4663.
Correct.
Got you, Gutierrez. Section 41.24, trespass on private property. 41.24, subsection E, the term private property shall mean any real property, including but not limited to buildings, structures, yards, open spaces, walkways, courtyards, driveways, carports, parking areas, and vacant lots, except lands which is used exclusively for agricultural purposes, owned by any person or legal entity other than property owned or lawfully possessed by any governmental entity or agency. Now, I've read to you the municipal code. Are you still going to stand in front of me with a gun and surround me and threaten my life?
I'm asking you to.
How many? 1, 2, 3, not Sanford. 4 firearms, probably 5. You got any magazines on you?
I'm just asking you to remain in the areas that are open to the public. This area is closed to the public. You're more than welcome to stay on the facility down the road. That is open to the public. This portion is not. That is also.
I get you. Close to the public by what authority? Because obviously not this authority that has been cited by the area command as it is dictated on that sign down the hill there.
Sir, please.
Okay.
Come down this way.
All right. So, hang on. If I refuse to leave, what will happen?
I'm asking you to restrict yourself to the areas open to the public. You can stay on the property down the road, not up here where the signage is posted.
I can appreciate that, but what I'm trying to ascertain is whether or not you're asking me, trying to bluff me into leaving, or if you're actually threatening me with arrest or physical violence if I refuse to go down there. I need to know that because hang on, I can't hear you when I'm talking. I can't hear what you're saying. So hang on, I'll talk, then you talk, okay? I'm trying to make a determination whether or not I am lawfully obligated to leave this property right here. Based on all of the information that I have right now and a totality of the circumstances, I don't think that I'm legally and lawfully obligated to leave the premises. What I need to know from you is if I act on that belief, what will you do?
Is it my turn to talk?
Yes.
Your turn to listen?
Yes.
I'm asking you to restrict yourself to the area of the premises that is open to the public further down the road, not up here. That is all. Let's go.
I understand, and I'm asking you.
Follow me.
See, I still don't know if you're threatening me with arrest or if you're trying to bluff me into leaving an area where I'm legally and lawfully allowed to be. This guy over here, he looks like a somebody. He looks like a somebody. Maybe not the sergeant. Sarge, if you can answer my questions, I'd really appreciate it. It would help me make a decision whether or not I'm going to comply with your request, quote, with your request, because so far you haven't given me an order. Sarge, do me a favor. Call a supervisor that's willing to answer my questions so that I can make a determination as to whether or not I'm violating a statute or not. Because you're not answering my questions and you're not giving me the information that I need to make a determination as to whether or not you're trying to bluff me off the property or whether I'm legally and lawfully not allowed to be here. And I would like that information so that I can make that decision.
Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here, but that's not the rest of the video. You guys definitely want to go subscribe to this channel. He's still going to talk to Sergeant Tom for a while. You absolutely got to watch the rest of the video, so go and subscribe and let him know I sent you. Here's the thing, folks. It's been a few days. I've been working on this video since, and I've had some time to think about it. They put a fake penal code on a no trespassing sign to pull a quick one on the people. They also did that at the LASD training facility. Now, Sergeant Tom, I did receive your email, but here's my take on all of this. Why would the police try to pull a fast one on the people? And when addressing the auditor about the sign, you guys all seem really certain and proud to have put that up there. In a free world, folks, this should not be happening. You guys heard what Assistant Manager Tom said. Elysian Park is open to the public, folks. It's right behind Dodger Stadium. It is the academy of the LAPD. I recommend everyone take your families out there, go check it out, because if it's public property, it belongs to the people. Oh yeah, one more thing. I'm not sure I want to be on Sergeant Tom's podcast. I just kind of seem to feel like it's an attempt to pull the wool over my eyes. I want to give a huge shout out to Born Again at Sheep Show Live channel. Like I said, folks, links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you all. See you on the next one. Peace.
I'm going to make a commitment to you. Tomorrow, I'm going to reach out to the city attorney's office.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask, and I'll get you answers,
Sure.
and I'll put it on that email
Sure.
that I sent you. So you'll have follow-up.
Okay.
And I'll be very honest with you.
All right.
If they're citing it wrong, I will give you the skinny.
All right.
I promise you that.